Now, I wasn't actually planning on recording a video today. Um, I was actually writing a script for a future video that I was actually planning on doing, which would be a lot more fun than what I'm recording right now. I don't think this will be anything random, but it would be random for my audience who at least watch me somehow, some way. But I'm just gonna play the clip for all of you on what I'm about to discuss.
What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied it, our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now the President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I
killed,
was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr.
are not
President, Mr.
strong-
President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring people, you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's
I will
respectful
answer.
to come to the Oval Office of the
will
United
answer.
States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're doing.
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the
bad
very
position,
beginning
and
of
he
the
happens
war.
to be right about
From
it.
the very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
But right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
what do you
You're
think
gambling
about?
with
What do you
World
think
War
about?
III. And
You-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country, that's
with all
backed
respect to
you
your
far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
So, what you all have just seen is literally just a disaster. A absolute disaster on what has happened during President Zelensky's visit to the United States and what went down inside the Oval Office, where if anything, it was just bullying. It was just bullying from President Trump and Vice President JD Vance. And one other important thing to note is uh, Vance also made this sort of like a partisan issue, like Zelensky like being against this Trump administration when he went over to like a campaign trail with the opposition or like with the Democrats. And uh, to let's be real, the reason why Zelensky was doing that is because he wanted to talk with both sides to see what deal that they have on ending the war. But Vance, he didn't buy it, and this is what Vance had to say in that very same meeting, and it was just shocking.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting, have
today.
you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
And what he just did right there was when everything imploded. But the thing is, Zelensky has been saying thank you countless times over, thanking the United States for all of the support that the country has given them. He's been thanking every single like European state as well for their support. Many, 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 many times over. And here's the thing, besides that, Europe has been like the biggest supporter and supplier of aid to Ukraine, with the United States being the closest second. If we put Europe combined, they would be the first, obviously. But again, um, Zelensky then would push back on this, saying like, "This is not how you conduct diplomacy," because of course this is not. It's fucking bullying.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country is in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this.
I...
You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and your
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
Yes. What about
if you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
And then right afterwards, both Vance and Trump essentially just spat down essentially like Russian propaganda sentiment, to say the least. Like there's no downplaying about this. And what this whole thing is, it was literally a setup. Like Zelensky was invited by the White House to discuss on the rare earth mineral like deal. Like that's what this is all about, right? And he just got set up like this. And there's no other arguments but that like this was set up. Like it was legitimately like set up. And uh, like Zelensky did not have like a chance to speak or make a point or have a rebuttal. Like he was he was essentially like shut down.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days. This is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks. Of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of
accept
times
that there,
thank you
accept
to
that,
American people.
accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on
I
over
understand,
there.
sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. I have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
that
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
But this
That
is
was
your-
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president.
You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
The thing was is that in his visit, this was supposed to be like a time where he was supposed to sign like a deal between Ukraine and the United States to have the latter have access to rare earth minerals in exchange for security guarantees against Russia. But but yeah, thanks to this whole entire meltdown that just happened, between all three of these individuals, I'm not gonna say that I support Trump or Vance. Let's let that be clear, okay? I never supported these guys, especially during the election cycle, and I've always been a staunch supporter for Zelensky and the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian military. But what this shows the wider world and what this has shown Europe in particular, because this mainly concerns them, right? What this has shown them is that this new this new administration is unreliable. Not only unreliable, but also extremely dangerous. And if there is a straw that has finally broke the camel's back on what would be the next move for Europe in this new geopolitical climate, now Trump is back in office, it is this moment. And what I'm trying to say here is what will this mean for the rest of us? What will this mean to like the rest of the world who have ties to the United States and who have ties, military alliances specifically, and history with the United States? What does this say about us? If Trump was willing to do this to the president of Ukraine, who has been trying so desperately just to make sure that his country is at peace and has pretty much all of the terms to his favor, because, for one, this is not his fault. He never wanted this war. It was the absolute lizard guy in the Kremlin that has done this. So what will this say to us? If Trump again was willing to do this to the Ukrainian president, what do you think he's going to do to, let's say, the president of Taiwan? What will this say to like the president of South Korea, the prime minister of Japan, or like any other world leader that have relied on the United States for so long to ensure the security of their own country? Now, here in Southeast Asia and here in the Philippines, we unfortunately do not have any other choices. Unless Europe decides to wake up, then maybe we can look over there. I mean, this is where I have to say, congrats and good job to like my country's current president, even though I fucking hate his guts. Like, in terms of domestic, or in terms of like societal and cultural stuff, I do not agree with him on everything. But from what he is doing to do international relations everywhere else besides the United States, besides relying on one person over the other and looking for probably better alternatives, that I respect. But what will this say about us? What is going to be the stance of the the greater world now? We have probably an unreliable and a potential Russian asset now. Well, not potential, but pretty much a de facto Russian asset in the White House. What will this mean for us? What will this mean for Europe? If if anything, Europe has to wake up. Like, they have to wake the fuck up now. Does this mean that they have to abandon NATO? No. I don't think they should ever abandon NATO. But what should they do? they should have their own standing army. That's literally the only alternative for them. But what will this say for the rest of the world, especially here in Asia? What will this mean for the rest of us? Well, there has been talks about an Asian form of NATO, but I don't see that becoming a solution anytime soon. Long term, maybe, but the short term, we have unfortunately no other options. The the unfortunate thing was is that I wasn't able to immediately comment on this quite sooner because I was asleep. Okay, this happened at like 2 a.m. in the morning for me. But what just happened is the implosion and the end of the world order as we know it. The United States, specifically, what President Trump has done to the United States in terms of its foreign relations and their alliances, he has practically ended it. Even though it has not ended on paper, in practice and in principle, in my own personal opinion, it has officially ended. What will happen in the coming future, I do not know. All I hope is that everyone, including the people of the United States, the people of Ukraine, and people in Europe, will be okay and will be all right in the end. Without the United States or not, I hope that shall be the outcome. And I think that's all I have to say for you guys. So, yeah, take care.